Wrestlemania 38 Sunday. We just finished the main event. Title unification match, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I'm joined by Brad from New York.
Hey
Brad, how you
guys.
doing?
Hey guys, good.
All right. What'd you think of the second chapter of WrestleMania 38, Brad?
Um, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was as great as yesterday, but I think that's a very hard expectation to live up to. And the matches were just different types of matches. Like they weren't as, you know, I understand you had three title matches on this show, but for some reason it didn't feel the same as last night's title matches, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the intensity tonight did not feel the same. There was a lot of celebrity matches, or at least two, and the title matches themselves, only one of them was a singles title match. So the other two were tag titles. The women's one, I felt, albeit decent work by all participants, having 8 women in the ring is a hard feat to accomplish to make it all seem very clean, and it just didn't feel clean. I felt like everything was rushed tonight. Almost every match could have used 5 more minutes, other than the Edge and Styles match, which, quite
Could
frankly,
have used 5 less minutes.
yeah, that match under delivered. They should have told them, um, you know, and listen, they work the in ring psychology well. I get it, and that's what they're trying to do. But at the same time, if you're going to do all that and the finish is going to be Damian Priest comes out of nowhere and distracts AJ Styles, and it leads us to Edge's heel faction. I don't see why we needed to have them hitting moves and selling for 2.5 minutes in between every single move. Um, so that was my take on that match. They put in a good effort, but I felt like it could have been put together a lot better, and they could have worked at a better pace. But
Did we ever find out why AJ Styles was bleeding?
that's the other thing. It looked like he had gone through a match before this match even started.
Yeah, weird.
It looked like somebody ran the side of his face up against a chain link fence or something.
Weird.
You know?
Very weird. Yep, weird. Huh.
So yeah,
And the announcers actually said coming out, like, oh, he's already bleeding. We'll find out and we'll report back on that. And they never did.
yeah. I guess nobody knew, or whatever. They sure had plenty of time to tell us, though, if they did want to tell us. So
Yeah.
tonight's show opened with Triple H entering, right as the show opened, thanks the fans for everything. Ends up leaving his ring boots in the ring with the microphone. Hugs his family at ringside. Everybody says thank you, Triple H. So that was a nice moment. Albeit I thought that could have occurred on the pre-show or at some other time, as to not take away time from the WrestleMania card.
Yeah, but you needed a packed arena for everyone to see that. Like, you're not going to have them go out there with, a bunch of empty seats at 7:30 or, whatever.
Yeah, I get that part of it, but that's
Yeah.
also why you bill a pre-show match. Like you move this Sheamus and Holland versus New Day crap to the pre-show. You advertise that, you get people in the seats, and then you get Triple H coming out at 7:50, and it doesn't take away from the show. And you know what? Triple H deserves all the time in the world to have that moment. All I'm saying is that, given the fact that it felt like a lot of things were rushed tonight, I'm just picking things that seemed like they got in the way of other things. For instance, Vince being in the ring with anybody is a waste of time. Austin, for the second consecutive night, doing that stuff,
Waste of time.
is a waste
Waste
of
of
time, in
time.
my opinion. As much as everybody in the arena liked it, it didn't do anything for me. I get the nostalgia. I get why everybody loves him. I'm a fan too, of course, but I also have my limits to what I think is logical and reasonable and acceptable when I'm trying to watch a show where you know, that RK Bro match that we're going to talk about in a second, it could have been a much better match than it was, and the whole thing just felt rushed. All these matches felt completely rushed. The finishes all felt like they came out of nowhere, which sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. What do you think of the opening match, RK Bro? Retaining
I
the title.
I liked it, and there was a point where the crowd was saying, "This is awesome." I was compelled by it. I was into it, but I did feel like it was like 4 minutes too short. You know what I mean? Like it just maybe like one more sort of series of something would have been appropriate. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have any really that many complaints. I thought the way it ended was really cool. It was really appropriate.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot of different crap happened in here. I mean, you had a point early in the match after Gable was hitting a bunch of lariats. They were beating down Riddle in the beginning. Um, Gable hit a Northern Light suplex on Ford or on Riddle, but Ford broke up that count. Everybody started getting in the ring, throwing everybody outside. Gable and Ford were isolated in the ring together. Ford went up for a huge dive at Gable in the corner, but he misses. He hit all four of the other guys who were outside. Gable went up to the top rope, hit a huge moonsault at everybody else that was outside, and Gable and Riddle got back in the ring. Um, Now Orton's nowhere to be found. Riddle's getting double teamed. He gets a big slam after a blind tag to Otis. Otis starts working on Riddle, splashes him a few times, gets a rear chin lock, slows everything down. Montez Ford comes out of nowhere with a drop kick on Gable. Once he's in there, Gable monkey flips him out of the corner. Tries to cover him, only gets a near fall. So we had the big spot over the corner. Then later in this match, we had Ford going up to the top after everybody was kind of at the ringside area. Ford goes up top. Riddle's nowhere to be found, and Riddle comes out of nowhere, RKO's him off the top rope. Then we have Gable trying to seize the opportunity and hit a moonsault across the ring onto Ford because Riddle and Ford were both down, but Orton came up, hits an RKO on the splash, and that was your finish. During the match, we also had Riddle and Orton hit dual draping DDTs. They vipered up like they were both going to hit stereo RKOs, but Alpha Academy ripped them out of the ring before they could do that. But eventually, the activity outside of the ring led to them sneaking in the two epic RKOs they got off the top rope moves, and they retained. I thought the Street Profits had some pretty cool gear here with the red and the gold. It was nice to see a change. I really liked Alpha Academy's gear with the red and the black flames.
yeah,
After the match, Profits celebrate with RK Bro with the solo cups and shit. Gable's pissed off. He comes in, slaps the fucking cup out of the hand, tells everybody to shoosh, and tells everybody shoosh, and then Gable Steveson comes out of the crowd, takes off his shirt, and does a overhead belly-to-belly toss to Chad Gable. RK Bro retains. It was a good match. I felt like it was a little bit less time than it needed. Good spots. Montez Ford, great athleticism over the top there. Gable did everything he could. Didn't see much from Dawkins except for the double team stuff. Riddle didn't see much from him except from when he was getting worked on and when he hit the RKO. He did do a little bit, but I really felt like it was. It just felt This match felt so compressed.
yeah. It felt like they had something for like 30 minutes planned. They're like, all right, you're gonna cut out this, you're gonna cut out this, you're gonna cut out this, and then it just ended up being whatever it was.
Go straight from the fucking suicide, take out all five guys to the draping DDT. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
usually, and then there was a time where Orton had the draping DDT ready on Montez Ford, and then
and then it got pulled off. Yeah,
Dawkins pulled him off. And then literally like 45 seconds later, Riddle and Orton are doing the draping DDT. And it's like,
and then, but why? Yeah,
why can't these guys have worked together? These teams have worked together a lot. It's like I said so many times. I've seen them at the house shows. We saw the Raw match. They had a better. The Street Profits are a real tag team with chemistry in here. I don't understand why they couldn't, and I do understand because they didn't have the time, but they just. I felt like the match was good, but it could have been better, and maybe my expectations were too high, but they didn't do the amount of spots they could have did. It was just rushed. It was as soon as they could get everybody in the ring out to that one side, hit this spot. All right, now let's do the draping DDTs. Now we got this. Now we got this. Boom, done. I really think they got cut for time there.
And what happened to the Street Profits being heels? That's
Yeah, I guess that was just to get them into the match because they're drinking solo cups with RK Bro. But I don't have that's not a problem. I don't have a problem with the match in general. I felt like it was a good match. There was a lot of action to it, But
yeah, it was fine. It was just good, not great. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, one hit Dawkins. Ford was up in the corner, hit a freaking modified flipping flying neck breaker. Got in near. So there was a lot of pretty good high rope spots by Ford and stuff like that, but I just felt like they could have did more because and you could just tell they were rushed by the pace of the tags. It was like they barely got the sequence finished between two of them before somebody blind tagged in. And
Do you have the number scroll? Oh, you have the number scrolling on the screen. My bad.
yeah, the number's up there, man. So, I mean, overall, what do you think of this match, man? Anything else?
No, honestly, I thought it felt rushed. It was good. Randy Orton, was kind of the star of the show, and that's good. And I thought everyone kind of had a little piece of the action. It didn't feel like anyone was left out. Otis had a thing. Gable did some stuff. Both the Street Profits did stuff. Well, really more Montez. I mean, Dawkins didn't really do anything, to be honest. But I thought it was good.
Yeah, Dawkins came in and ran wild on everybody for a second and did some double team work with Montez. He was part of getting everybody out of the ring for those couple ringside spots, but other than that, Dawkins didn't do that much.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that the Street Profits didn't take the pin, but I guess that's why. I guess they had Gable take the pin so that Street Profits and RK Bro could do their little party scene, and then Gable could come in and break that up, and then they could have Stevenson come in and toss him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there was such a huge emphasis this whole weekend on this Stevenson guy, and I understand, man. He's the next thing. They love him. He's a champion. I understand all that, and I'm not knocking the guy. It's just there was too much of an emphasis. I mean, 2 nights. I mean, he was featured in basically the same way almost that The Undertaker was featured both nights. Agreed? I mean, he was completely singled out by Stephanie McMahon. He was completely singled out tonight. Triple H singled him out, and then he got singled out for the match tonight twice. I mean, okay, fine. He's another wrestler coming in. Great. But
yeah, they just feel like he's a big part of their future. They feel like they signed him, while he was in college. He's 2-time NCAA champion. They want to put him over and bring him in hot. So whether or not I agree with you. That's another thing that was on the show that took up time that didn't need to.
Yep.
That after match shit. If that didn't happen, if they just won the belts and then went back, then that all that time they took to do that could have been more false finishes, more spots, more falls. I guess at the end of the day, I'll give them credit that they executed some creative and innovative spots that were new because we hadn't seen those corner splashes and stuff yet. They didn't go back to the Tree of Woe, or not the Tree of Woe, the Tower of Doom, which is something that they easily could have done. So they tried new things, and I didn't mind it, but at the end of the day, I was really expecting this to steal the show, and it was a good match. I liked it, but um, could have used a little more time. And I will say that night one, part of the thing about when we're talking about night two may not have been as good as night one. Same as how the Rousey and Flair match might have been a decent match, but it had to follow so much other good shit that it ended up not seeming as good. So night two, having to follow a pretty stellar night one, ended up not looking so good.
Yeah.
So
all right.
moving on, we had Omos and Lashley. Lashley had a star-studded entrance. He's literally on a pedestal, pyro going off all over the place. Comes out to a great babyface reaction, has excellent babyface timing on, all of his gestures and everything like that. Match starts out, we get basically the whole match is Bobby Lashley trying to hit a suplex on Omos. Omos is controlling him most of the time. He's really slamming. He's just putting him on the ground with every strike. Lashley is getting lariated to the ground. He's beating the hell out of Lashley. Gets him in a bear hug a couple times. Lashley attempts a suplex. It gets blocked. Later in the match, attempts a suplex. It gets blocked. Eventually, he hits the suplex. Now, in the middle of this match, he had the Hurt Lock, and it was locked in, and Omos just grabbed his hands and powered right. I've never seen anybody get out of the Hurt Lock like that, and just threw Bobby Lashley down over the ringside area. Bobby goes for a crossbody. Omos catches him. Finish sees Bobby hit a spear. And then after he finally hits the suplex and then pins him for a 1, 2, 3. I felt like the match was decent at demonstrating that Omos can actually have a match with somebody. It demonstrated Lashley's a monster for taking down the monster. And, everything worked out, I guess.
See, I totally disagreed with the way that they did this because I think I really think that you shouldn't have had Omos lose the air of invincibility. I think that like, for instance, I feel like, and I know you're going to say he's not ready, but I feel like you could have squeezed a pay-per-view match with like Roman and Omos in some, kind of, a Money in the Bank or something like that. Like, I feel like you could have squeezed out a pay-per-view out of this. Like, no one's beaten Omos. He even beat Bobby Lashley. He is enormous. He is unstoppable. Like, I feel like you could have squeezed something out of this. And, I don't understand why MVP wasn't there. That made no sense. But I just don't think it did anything for Bobby to win. And I don't think it does anything, obviously, for Omos to have him lose. Except for like, oh yeah, Bobby can be like, he can be beat. It's not a big deal anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they just blew it with that. I think they should have made Omos win.
Yeah, I mean, short term, your take on that's the exact same thing I had. I thought Omos would go over tonight. I thought it was the right thing to do. It would, put him over an actual wrestler and a championship caliber one at that. And the loss wouldn't hurt Lashley, I didn't think. So I felt that was the easiest thing to do. But when you break it down in the ring, we saw Omos, grow a little bit as a wrestler in the ring. But the story was he can beat these guys that can't handle him. But when somebody can suplex him, he gets beat by the real wrestler. But Bobby Lashley's a top carder. This match did elevate Omos's standing because he went more than 30 seconds. So
yeah, but it didn't do anything for any, like, what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have had Omos as this invincible Andre the Giant type of guy that you could have just squeezed out a cool pay-per-view out of him. And I again, like, I don't see what it did for Bobby Lashley. Like, everyone knows how great Bobby Lashley is. I don't even think Bobby Lashley should have faced him if they were going to make Bobby Lashley win. I think what they should have done is what we had suggested, you'd suggested, that MVP, kind of comes in, turns his back on Bobby, backs Omos, maybe hits, Bobby in the back of the leg with a cane when, Bobby's going off the ropes or something. Omos falls on him, pins him, whatever. And you have some shady win by Omos, but still a win, and then MVP aligns with Omos. I don't understand what the hell this did other than give Omos a match and like, oh yeah, it's just fucking Omos. Who cares? He can't even beat Bobby Lashley. He's not ready for anything. I understand what you mean. It got him on the big stage. He's with a big guy. He proves he can go longer. Great. But like the invincibility thing is gone. That's why Andre the Giant never freaking lost until Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean?
He's not Andre the Giant. That's the problem. They can't bill somebody as Andre the Giant when they're not. He's proven to not be that. And so we don't know where they're going with it. And so where they're going with it is, at this point, he's dominant, like a monster.
But to a point. But to a point.
Yeah. And so, but he's got... Because if he would have just squashed Lashley, then what good does that do? What the hell did Omos gain in squashing Lashley other than on paper he beat Lashley?
Well, he gets wow, this guy can beat some serious talent. Now he's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that, like, the narrative and all that you're going with is, to me, what they should have went with. But at the end of the day, the finishes and how the matches finish and how the wins and losses aren't necessarily what it is. It's how they get there. And I think how they got there was at least acceptable to what they're doing with Omos.
Yeah, but you had the best idea with the MVP backing Omos because Omos can't talk. That's why Omos was better with AJ Styles in a certain way because AJ could talk for him. He needs someone to talk for him. If Bobby Lashley is not going to utilize MVP and MVP is not even going to come out with him at WrestleMania, and who the hell knows what's going on with MVP, but the point is, if MVP isn't going to come out with Bobby Lashley and be a part of Bobby Lashley's faction, then why not just team him with Omos and let him speak for Omos? It would have been so awesome. It makes too much sense.
I don't think MVP's cleared for ring action. I think he's...
No, well, he couldn't have stood by the side of the ring with a cane?
No. I understand that. I just mean, in general, the reason why we haven't seen him in a match or something. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. I don't know why he's not really Lashley's manager, but he's in the fucking splash graphic standing by.
Right, he was in the graphic. Right, he was in the graphic, yeah.
Yeah, so... Now, don't get me wrong, man. I was in a way better mood after last night than I am tonight.
Yep.
And normally I'm very positive about things. About what WWE does. I think that they do a fine job, but I don't like a lot of things I saw tonight. I'm going to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah. I didn't love that decision personally. Again, like, I don't know why I'm higher on Omos, or I was higher on Omos, because I do think he has this special kind of like freak show thing going on that a lot of people just can't bring to the table. And the way they were building him up, and then to just dead it right now, like, okay, like now he's going to beat some mid-card guy, and that's great, and whatever. That's what we'll do with Omos now.
So cool. The End of Days had never been kicked out of in however many years, and finally got kicked out of last night. But we can say they can still protect that in a certain way, and it was only Drew McIntyre who kicked out of it.
Right.
And so
only the best guy, right? Only the best guy.
If we can apply that same logic here, then it makes a little more sense, right?
But it's also a guy who never lost. Like, Happy Corbin's lost before many times. Like, this guy hasn't lost. And that was the thing. Like, by the way, he hadn't been knocked down. Forget about losing before. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just thought they were building towards something different. And Omos is now just a regular guy in the roster. There's nothing unique or special or invincible about him anymore.
Well, yeah,
That's what it is.
The immediate reaction to the result of that match is, where the hell are they going with this now? Because they just destroyed the mystique of this
Yes.
jungle monster that can't be beat.
Yes.
I didn't
correct.
mean that, I meant that in the most political correct way as I could. I just mean that he's an animal, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in a back alley with him. So he can be beat now. Now, Lashley is a big guy. He's a freaking monster. I mean, but he looks like a little kid next to Omos. And I thought
they blew it. They blew it, man.
They could have had the same match. Just have Omos kick out of the spear, and then have him get up and get pissed off, and just start throwing clubs. Like, you know what I mean? If he could knock down Lashley with one hit all those times, then why couldn't he beat him? He still could have suplexes. He still could have had a great match, and then Lashley's got to put him over at the end. That's what I do agree with you. Lashley should have went over at the end, but I accept what happened because I feel like the way the match played out got Omos over more than he was going in. So if he's over more than he was going in, overall, then it's okay to me. But,
see, bro, I hear what you're saying, and I do see the perspective, but I do disagree just because I really think that, again, you destroyed an invincible character that you had, and now you made it for a win that didn't matter to Lashley. It didn't matter. What really should have happened was an ending not to speculate on stupid endings, but like they both kind of clock each other, and Omos, like the tree trunk he is, just kind of falls on top of Lashley, and his weight is just so powerful that Lashley just kind of doesn't kick out in time, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like where they both knock each other out, and Omos is dead and he's dead, but Omos happens to fall on top of him with all his weight. There's something like that. Like
an easy finish would be this. Okay, they do everything they did. He gets the spear, he kicks out, they get up, they do whatever the fuck they're gonna do. Like, Omos gets him in another rear face lock. Lashley bounces out of it. They both hit the ropes, go for a clothesline on each other, knock each other down.
Yep.
But Omos has his arm across Lashley.
Exactly.
Gets the pinfall. Boom.
Something like that. Exactly. Like it's like a freak thing, and you protect Lashley. Again, Omos is now nothing special, and he was.
In the realm of play fighting, which effectively is what this is, are we putting too much emphasis on the wins and losses? Are we?
Yes, because in that instance, if you're going to have, just say we're combining the brands, and yeah, we are. No, we're not. Not in this instance, because the whole thing about him never beaten, never knocked down, and now it's all gone, and for no reason. Really, for no reason, because no one's going to say, oh, wow, Bobby Lashley beat Omos. Bobby Lashley beat Brock Lesnar at the last pay-per-view. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not, I know it was shady, but he did beat him. So, like, no one's going gaga over, oh my God, Bobby Lashley beat Omos. Now he's the fucking man. Everyone thinks he's the man already.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a mistake. I think it was stupid, but I can accept the way that they booked the match. I think Omos should have won the match. I do. You swayed me. I tried to play. I tried to toe the company line, but
yeah,
that match was tailor made for fucking Omos to pick up some serious steam, and that clearly isn't in the plans for him. That's.
You could have used, again, like, not to harp on this, but you could have used freaking Omos in a main event of a pay-per-view. Not as the dynamic personality and, oh my God, he's a kind of great promo, just as this freak of nature that one day, he picks up Roman Reigns by the neck or something weird, and Roman walks out, the SmackDown ends with Roman looking at Omos in absolute shock, like, what the hell am I going to do with this guy? And honestly, I'd be wondering what the hell is he going to do with this guy too. You know what I mean? But now it's gone. It's done, man. And I hate it. And I could talk about this for the next hour, bro. Like, I really hate it. And, and it did nothing for Bobby Lashley. Nothing. No one thinks Bobby Lashley's a better wrestler today because he beat Omos last night or tonight.
No, I mean, I don't either. I don't think that was necessarily the point. I think at the end of the day, the point is Omos can hang in a match. He can take moves. He's pretty good, but he ain't going to beat the Almighty. And that's basically what they told us.
Yeah, I gotcha, and I understand what that perspective is and what they were thinking. But I just think it was completely wrong and completely stupid. Unless they're saying, hey, this guy Omos, we're never going to use him in that way, so fuck it.
Right. That might be it too, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where the fuck they're going with this now. They threw a wrench in it. Because I agree with you. You know, my prediction, the way I thought it out, was exactly what you said. I felt Omos should win. Omos should be with MVP. He needs a mouthpiece because...
Also, bro, we need opponents for Roman, man. Like, they're going to need opponents. And yeah, there's only so many times you're going to be able to do Drew McIntyre and then who else, and then who else. And you're going to need Omos one of these times. And I'm not saying he can't get back to something. I'm not saying that. But I just think in the next, 3-4 months, they really could have used him for something. And now it's like, God, whatever. Again, this is something that really bothers me.
All right, well, let's move on. What was next? Zayn and Knoxville?
Yep.
All right, so we had Zayn and Knoxville in this match. Zayn hit Knoxville with a haluva kick right out of the gate. He starts stomping down Knoxville. They roll out to the ringside area. Cole reminds us that it's a anything goes match like 5 times before they start doing anything that has anything to do with anything goes. Zayn taunts in front of a bunch of jackass guys that are sitting at the ringside area on the hard cam side. Throws Knoxville into the barricade, smacks one of the jackass members, taunts him. Knoxville comes out of nowhere with the fire extinguisher, discharges it in Zayn's face. But, and then he goes under the ring, picks up a trash can, gets some crutches, a stop sign, throws all that crap in a ring. But during this time, it distracted him. Zayn took advantage of that. Regained control of the match, throws Johnny Knoxville into the ring, empties out the trash can, starts laying out Knoxville with a clean cookie sheet. Then he hits him with the trash can in the corner of the ring. Zayn goes under the ring to get more weapons, finds a table that's laced with mouse traps. Zayn tries to get back in the ring, but runs into clapping trash can lids being held by the hands of Johnny Knoxville, ring in his head. Then he beats him over the head with a stop sign, sets up a table in the corner, tries to suplex Zayn into it, but Zayn reverses it and hits an exploder suplex into the table on Knoxville. Zayn goes for a cover, gets a very near fall, goes to set up for a haluva kick, but Knoxville blows an air horn in his face when he comes at him. Zayn takes Knoxville down. But then a guy that they call Party Boy enters the ring, starts stripping down into a thong.
And boy, did I want to see this guy get his freaking ass kicked. I was saying throw him into the table of mousetraps. I don't think that guy should have been a hero at all. He was killable.
My God.
He was disgusting with his ass cheeks. He was disgusting.
At this point in the match, I'm like, oh my God. Like, what are they doing?
No, I wanted to see that guy killed. Like, literally.
Yeah, I get it. I had the heat. I just wanted to see him get killed. I was trying to enjoy the show and everything, but at the same time, man, like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, his ass is hanging out. He's wearing like a thong.
Distraction. Why this one?
No, that guy. Look, I don't want to go through the individual moves of this match because we'll be here for 3 hours. But the point of the matter is that I actually found this match to be entertaining.
Yeah, eventually, Wee Man comes in there from under the ring, brings in a thing that's got like a boot on it that kicks somebody. Sammy tries to get away from these guys. They hit him with that swinging booby trap eventually. Sammy gets into the ring. He goes up to the top. Knoxville grabs him by his balls with, I think...
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah, sent him over the top rope, into the mousetrap table. Jackass guys threw him into the ring, put him in a giant mousetrap. Knoxville got on top of him with the mousetrap closed and hit the 1, 2.
No, dude, the funniest part was actually the hand, that huge giant hand.
Well,
that was funny.
I know it's hard when you tell me not to say any more of the move, so I just
No. I'm not telling. I just the hand was very, very funny. Like that was like a highlight to me. Like that was really funny.
right.
But
So
yeah, but no, but
Knoxville had some kind of remote control he was setting off booby traps with, and at one point, he hit a button and a hand flew out and smacked Zane right in front of the announcer's table. So,
it was really funny.
That was pretty funny. I mean, listen, entertaining match, good comedy segment. I'm cool with it. Could have done without the guy in the thong. They didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't just that he was wearing a thong. He's like prancing around the ring, and how are people cheering for this guy? I have no idea. I just wanted to see that guy stand and be like, "Oh yeah, you want to do that? Pick him up, throw him right into the mousetraps, kill him. He's dead. That's it." And then you could have the other guys do other stuff to him, but that guy deserved to be totally finished.
Yeah. But the match didn't take up too much time. I thought it was okay. It was
fine.
It was good for what it was. Zane had fun. Knoxville had fun. I had fun. You had fun.
Yep. Everyone liked it.
Fatal 4-Way Women's Match, Tag Team Championship. Naomi and Sasha coming. I'm talking about their entrances a little bit because they were nice. Big entrance for Naomi and Sasha. Then Sasha comes over in a Lamborghini or something. What the hell kind of car was that?
Lamborghini. I think it was a Lamborghini.
Yeah, it was a Lamborghini. Picks up Naomi. They drive 10 feet and get out. Walk down the ramp. Banks is in some really nice looking gear with sequins on it. Her hair's blue with green tips. I thought Sasha looked great. Then you see,
of course,
you get Ripley and Morgan come out here and looking like goddamn dominatrix.
Oh, they looked. I said the masks. They looked horrible, and it made me like them less. I did not like the way they looked at all. I agree with you.
It's like Liv Morgan.
They look like freaks.
Like trying to be like Rhea Ripley, but she's not really Rhea Ripley. But she's kind of like her, but she really shouldn't. I don't buy it. It seems so laborious.
I agree.
It seems so laborious. And I'm happy.
Liv, how about you be yourself? How about you just be yourself?
Well, she doesn't know who the hell she is because she in the promos she reads the script and then laughs every 2 words. Because she
there's something wrong with her, man. I'm not. Again, I used to like her. I don't know. There's something about like tonight. Those masks, they were like ghoulish, man. Like they were disgusting. Like I found that to be.
What was it? Graves said that they were supposed to be Batman masks. Was he just saying that to?
Oh yeah, he's like, oh, they're Batman masks. And like no, Batman doesn't have like horns like that on it. And he's like, oh yeah, whatever they are. Yeah, tonight they're Batman. Who cares?
Yeah, they were really looked like something out of Hostel or something, but
stupid.
Baszler and Natalya come out here next. Baszler had some nice new pants on tonight, a nice leather jacket. Natalya had a pretty good looking one-piece singlet on as well. And
did absolutely nothing. Nothing the whole match.
The only thing that I felt like they did was take some hits on the outside, and they did one sequence that looked like they were setting up for a heart attack, but instead Baszler hit a running knee on Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks did most of the work in this match. Not going to go through the whole thing because it's late, but we did see almost all the women get a little bit of action, but it was mostly a woman against another with everybody out, lots of blind tags all over the place, everybody coming in and out of the match. And then when they all did get them, there was like probably 2 or 3 times where everybody got in the ring and just cleaned house. But at the end of this match, Ripley eventually hits a Riptide on Naomi. She went for a pin, but her partner saved her. Then she goes for Riptide again. They break loose. We got all the women inside. Ripley gets sent into the ring post. Baszler hits All right, so Baszler and Natalia are in the ring, double teaming Naomi. I just messed up there. Ripley went for a riptide. Naomi got out of it, sent her out of the ring. Then Natalia and Baszler are working on Naomi. They whip her around. This is the spot I was talking about. They hold her there. Baszler runs the ropes, hits her with a drop falling knee. They try to cover, but then all of a sudden the champs come in and break it up. So there was a lot of near falls in this match that Vega and Carmelo broke up, but then by the end of the match, Carmelo's in there with Naomi and Sasha. Naomi hit Sasha with a big-ass roundhouse kick to the face, and then an assisted face buster from the top rope with Carmelo on her head, and Sasha from the top rope. They easily pin her for the 1, 2, 3. You know, not the cleanest match ever. They got
That was sloppy.
Yeah, I will say they did have a Tower of Doom spot where they did 2 Tower of Dooms, and that was impressive to see them try that, and it sort of came out of nowhere. I think on one side it was Naomi, Baszler, and Natalia, and then Ripley brought them down as the base of the Tower of Doom. And then on the other side, they had the strong base of Liv Morgan trying to bring down Banks and whoever the hell else was in the match. They had the spots in this match. The right team won. The finish was nice with them, getting Ripley out of there, because Ripley was clearly, throughout the match you could tell Ripley was the biggest threat to them. She hit a riptide for a near fall at some point in the match. There was a lot of near falls, but you could tell they were going to get broken up by somebody.
None of them seemed that dramatic to me.
Yeah, it was just hit a move, go for a pin. We're going to get 2.5, but Selena Vega is going to come out of nowhere and break this up, or Carmella is going to go. But there was a lot of them where once we got probably 5 minutes in the match, we had a lot of people on the outside, and it was basically Sasha working with somebody else. And so when that stuff happened, when a lot of those pinfall attempts, it would be Vega or Carmella coming in trying to save their title. But eventually, it's the champs that got pinned. Carmella was the right person to be pinned, and Banks was the right person to pin her. So I didn't have a problem with the finish. I didn't necessarily have a problem with the match itself. Like the spots, could have been cleaner. I think, again, we don't know what kind of time they're working with. Outfits, I thought, were innovative, but this was about. I honestly think this is as good as they're going to do. So it's nice to see 8 women on the show and only one have to get pinned. But you tell me what you think.
Yeah, I just didn't love it. I've not a lot of great things to say about it. I didn't think it was horrible. I did think it was nice seeing how emotional Sasha was after the match. Actually, that was like my favorite part, to be honest with you. Like seeing her like genuinely looked like she was actually crying. If she was, she's just an amazing actress, but it just seemed like she was
her first WrestleMania win ever.
Yeah, but she was. Yeah, it was nice to see that, and that was my favorite part of the whole thing, without question. Everything else about it, I could have done without. I didn't love it. Didn't think it was great. Didn't think it was that exciting. Thought it was very sloppy, and that's really about it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, I was talking to him before the show, and I somewhat agreed with him. These women's matches where they have executed it well have been good. When they don't execute it well, it's a mess. I think they did what they could here. They didn't seem like they had a lot of time at all. It was very centered around Sasha. I would have liked to see more showcasing of each team and really sort of convince me that one of the other teams is going to win. There was never a point in time during the entire match where it felt like anybody was going to win until they won. I mean, they had the couple times where the champs were in control when they isolated Banks over there, but you knew damn well with 6 other women standing ringside or whatever it is, that if they go for a pinfall, somebody's going to break it up. You know what I mean? So you knew nothing was going to happen then. So there was no point where the match was really in doubt. And then it just sort of went haywire when everybody came out of their corner. They all get back in there. You know, there was a point where I think Sasha tagged in Naomi, and then all the heels came over and ripped Naomi down. Or no, not all the heels. Baszler and Natalya did. And then Zelina and Carmella went and ripped down Ripley off the apron, so they couldn't make a tag over there. So they really tried to squeeze in all this different stuff when I think they should have stuck to what each individual performer's actually good at themselves within the realm, and when they make their tag into the match, do something, show off for a little bit, and then do something else. Sometimes doing all these combination spots is too much. We don't need to see everyone getting ripped off the apron every time there's a hot tag. The Tower of Doom,
Yeah.
fine, but they did just Ripley did a Tower of Doom like a week ago. Belair does a Tower of Doom anytime there's 3 other women in the ring. You know? So, while I like the Tower of Doom, I like the big spots, I thought that they worked hard, decent match, I do think that it was sloppy, and I would have rather seen a cleaner match. And honestly, I would have rather it just been Banks and Naomi versus Vega and Carmella.
Definitely would have been way better than this. No need to put the other teams in. You could have had just a feud with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley somehow. You know, if you wanted to do that,
They
could have had some
easily,
match with them.
but it got them onto the WrestleMania card. It got the positive. Here's my positivity about this match: the right people won. Okay, the right person got pinned. We did see decent offense out of pretty much everybody. I mean, I know you say Baszler and Natalya didn't do much, and they didn't, but
Baszler did that one thing where she almost broke Liv Morgan's ankle type of thing. So
yeah, she had
fine.
Baszler had Morgan in the middle of the ring, and got a leg lock on Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was just screaming in agony for a minute, and you got Jimmy. This could be it. This could be it. It's not going to be it, because even if she's about to tap, someone's going to come in and break that up, and that's the thing with these matches. It's like there's interference that's allowed to happen, and so that's why they have to get people subdued outside of the ring. And I think that they could have done more to make that outside of the ring stuff more believable. That, like, okay, this person's taken out. This person's tied up brawling with this other person and not paying attention. So that's 2 of them. You know what I mean? And just they didn't do enough of logically getting all that set into place, where it was like, okay, now it's going to be settled with these final 2 or 3 people in the ring because these other 4 are tied up out here. You know?
Yeah.
It just
So
sort
look,
of,
man, I don't have a huge problem with it. Just
yeah, it was a good match. At the end of the day, they did what they needed to do, I think. And the right team won. And at the end of the day, like, I think this will help the women's tag team division. I think having these 2 women as the champs will, make the titles seem more important as long as they defend them. And they'll also eventually, hopefully, bring up like a Toxic Attraction that just lost yesterday at Stand Deliver and teams like that. And hopefully, now that we have the belts on a good team, they'll be working with other women and elevate them. So that's what I hope for, and that's why at the end of the day, this match is a thumbs up for me. So, you ready to move on?
Yep, definitely.
So we got Edge and AJ next. This is what everybody was looking forward to. Everybody thought this was going to be the match of the century, or the year, or whatever. Dream match. At the end of the day, for me, decent match. Not what I expect. Not as great as I expected it to be. AJ came out to his normal entrance. Then we get Edge coming out to, you hear his voice say, "You think you know me," and then we get his new music. He rises up to sitting in a throne with flames around him, wearing a suit that looked like one of the old Undertaker suits. So he's really deep into the heel thing. What did you think of Edge, his presentation?
I don't know. I just thought it was very obviously dark, very creepy. But then he really wasn't acting that creepy in the ring. He was just like a regular wrestler, Like he didn't like play a factor in the way the match played out. Like it wasn't like he was being really heelish. I mean, at the very beginning, he kind of did that sneak away type of thing where he goes through the ropes, and then it kind of ended. I don't know. Again, not to knock it, but I really expected, like, I thought this was going to be like, these are two of the best wrestlers in the world. This is going to be, just this really amazing, well thought out, exciting match and thing you haven't seen before. And it ended up being, to me, not anything that great.
Yeah, I mean, it was very plodding, very slow, typical Edge match. Guys hitting moves, then both of them acting like they just got in a car wreck. Even the guy who delivered the move, we got to wait a minute and a half for him to get back up and do something else.
Too slow.
I don't mind them starting out with like the lockups and the chain stuff and the mat wrestling. And honestly, they did start that way, and people liked it. They got a couple good reactions from the fans because they were working pretty hard. But then I just felt like it got slow and repetitive. The story in this one, and Edge was really working over AJ's shoulder. AJ was working over Edge's back, I think, because even when AJ finally hit the springboard 450 moonsault, which he missed, I think, 2 times before he finally hit it, he hit it on Edge's back, and then he flipped him over, tried to pin him, only got 2.5. But the finish of the match saw AJ go for a phenomenal forearm, and then he just sees Damian Priest. Damian Priest is shown standing ringside with a weird look on his face, sort of staring daggers at AJ, and AJ looks at him, gets distracted, and then Edge basically gets him inside. Or no, Edge sets up goes for the forearm, and Edge spears him midair, pins him 1, 2, 3. And I
mean, it wasn't really that distracting, like he just kind of looked at him like, okay, like, you're standing there. What are you going to do? I don't know. Whatever. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I guess the point of the match was to cement Edge's heel turn and cement this faction thing. Don't know that they needed to start all that shit tonight with the faction stuff. I would have rather the focus been on the match itself because that's what I think we all expected it to be. And I don't know. It was just too, especially after you see, I'm watching 6 men in a triple threat tag team match, 8 women in a fucking tag team match, and they're all having to rush through everything. And then I got these 2 guys out there, albeit 2 of the best and 2 of my most favorite, out there taking 10 minutes to hit 2 moves.
Yeah.
It's just that's the sort of thing. And I understand the different styles of match. Believe me, I'm not a fucking idiot. But I think that, and I understand Edge is older. I understand it. But it just didn't seem, it seemed very disjointed. I can say that.
Yeah, it seemed like almost like they didn't go over anything with each other. It was just kind of like, all right, we'll do some things, and then we'll eventually get to this. And
it reminded me of Seth and Cody's match, but not as good.
Yeah, it did.
But not as
I
good.
totally agree. Very similar.
Styles going for the style clash throughout the match, finally hits it. Edge kicks out of that. So that was a big moment in the match. Obviously, hitting the 450 moonsault finally was nice. Styles had some nice moves. It was really a back and forth match, and Styles was in firm control up until that distraction. And that's the other thing. It's like Styles really had Edge down and ready for the forearm, but then he hits him with the spear of death in midair, which was a nice spear. That's another thing.
It was good.
The one thing about this match is like when I saw a spear, I was like, holy shit. So, the finish was okay. The Damian Priest shit, I don't think was necessary. If you take that out and have this match and speed it up a little bit, not bad.
Totally.
Yeah, so looks like Edge has got a fact. Who do you think the next person besides Damian Priest will be that will join?
I don't know. I have a feeling. This is gonna have something to do with Cody for some reason. Like it's gonna be like he's gonna have like a good guy faction, and Edge is gonna have his bad guy faction, something like that. Like it might even be AJ Styles and Cody teaming up against Edge, Damian Priest type of thing. I could see something like that, right?
Yeah, AJ Styles.
They're all on Raw.
AJ Styles and Cody would fucking kill Damian.
Like I also feel like Cody's going to be very selective. Like it just sounds like based on his interviews, like he doesn't want to work with like an Omar. Like he's going to want to work with like people that he really respects, like an AJ Styles.
Yeah, or
and
Rollins,
or Rollins or Edge. Like those are going to be the types that he's going to want to work with. He's not going to want to work with like trying to think of someone on Raw like I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone on Raw that's like.
Oh, he'll want to work with Owens or Lashley, or if Big E was still there, he'll want to work with Roman. He might.
He probably wants the championship.
Yeah, he doesn't mind people like Sheamus even, or McIntyre. People like that. Those are the guys that Cody should be positioned with. If he's wrestling.
Yeah, but I think he's going to team up with AJ Styles on Raw. I think I'll say like, Edge, what you did was despicable. Damian Priest, your buddy, screw him. Something like that.
I mean, listen, I like factions. Because
no problem.
It adds another layer to the story. It adds another thing that can happen. You know what I mean? When you have a faction, at any time, somebody from that faction can affect whatever fucking match it is, and it gives creative so many more things they can do.
Yeah.
So
totally agree.
Yeah. So we get Edge defeating AJ Styles with a nice spear after he counters the phenomenal forearm. Interference by Damian Priest, or a distraction, I should say. But other than that, I would say it was a decent match. It was probably on par for what it should be. I think everybody had higher expectations than they should have for it.
It's just too slow for me and for my liking. But whatever. I mean, it just like, oh man, I don't want to get stuck on it, but it just showed like Seth and Edge had one of the best matches I've seen in a long time. That Hell in a Cell thing where Edge beat Seth at the one of the Saudi pay-per-views recently, or pretty recently. And that was freaking great. I mean, it was so good. And like, I don't know what that says. I don't know what that means. Does it mean that Seth has an ability to make the match better just by his mere presence? Or does it mean that Edge just maybe lost a step over the last few months? Or does it mean that AJ and Edge wasn't a good pairing? Or does it mean AJ's not what he used to be? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I honestly think that at the end of the day, it's more of a thing where the styles, no pun intended, weren't what we were looking for in this match, and how they chose to play it out. If this was a babyface Edge, which is what you saw against Rollins, I just think that Edge is trying to do the heel shit too much right now. And so that factors into his timing in the matches and the slowness and all that shit. And I just think that, and I really do think that the Damian Priest thing left a sour taste in anybody's mouth who was watching this match. For me, at least. Did that not kind of piss you off that was the ending?
Yeah, because like it's like this. He didn't mean. No offense to Damian Priest, I wish him well, but he doesn't mean that much right now. Like he wasn't even a guy that was supposed to have a WrestleMania match, like let alone affecting the end of this huge match, and also being someone that had no history with anything. It wasn't like, oh, like him and Edge had a thing over the last few weeks, and he just kind of popped in again. Like it had nothing to do with anything. Just like, yeah, I want to join up with you. Okay, like, yeah, I ruined that match for AJ Styles. Cool, we're a team.
If he's the person that's going to cause, like, if AJ's so distracted by this guy, why the fuck isn't AJ jumping down off the apron and saying, "What are you doing here?
Yeah,
What's he just
exactly.
looking at him for?" And then if he is just going to look at him, why would he not make sure that Edge wasn't in the right spot for the form? And that's the whole thing with that. It's like, okay, so Edge baited him into the spear, but would Damian Priest being there even matter? Because AJ has to wait for Edge to stand up anyway.
Right.
So I don't know. I just, when I saw him, I was just like, man, the match is over now. Like, I thought he was gonna I thought we were gonna get some near falls at the end, and then
Well, just imagine these two veterans going at how are we going to finish this epic match that we're going to have? How are we going to finish this out? Oh yeah, let's have Damian Priest look at you. Like it was that like I don't know. Like I just don't know how that's okay. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I
Like
thought,
after all that stuff that they probably went through to like try to create a great match and an epic match and then just to have it be that. Like I hated that, man.
wow,
Whatever,
we're
let's
really
move
shitting on
on.
we're really shitting on this night too, aren't we? Wow.
No, I don't think I love the WWE and I love everything that they did this weekend. I give them an absolute A.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give an A plus, but I give an A, and I loved it.
Kyle said he gave last night like an 8 out of 10. I said I gave it a 9, which is massively high. Like we were both talking about this. Like a 5 is like, okay, it's good enough to where it didn't piss me off, you know? So last night I gave it a 9. Today I would probably give a 7 or a 7.5. Like
Yeah, I would be like I thought last night was almost a 10, to be honest with you. Like I really thought it was almost a 10, and I think tonight was like a 6. So like overall, it's like an 8. Fine.
yeah, tonight was not a bad night. It was just they had a hard act to follow last night. They had matches tonight that just weren't going to be the same way. They had matches last night that were matches that even I said, hey, this looks like a shitty match on paper. It's going to be good. Like the McIntyre Corbin. I've been saying that forever. And it was. And then Lynch is always going to give you a good match, I think. So is Belair. And then everything else. So,
So they should have put Bianca and Becky on tonight and moved like the Sami Zayn match to last night. That's something like that.
Or the Styles match. Something should have been yesterday, and something from yesterday should have been tonight.
Yeah, you needed. Yeah.
I mean, if you could switch 2 matches right now, and the next match we're going to talk about should have never fucking happened, and that's the one that I think. Because Sheamus reportedly backstage got fucking pissed off just at the fact that at the amount of time that they're on the WrestleMania card, and he's pissed off that they had the least amount of time. Then their match get cut. He gets pissed off about that. Then he lobbies for their position today. They still have very little time. You know what? You've been around for 15 years and haven't done shit now. Have your match on the fucking pre-show because your lackey injured the dude that would have made this a 3-on-3 match and actually made it interesting.
Correct.
And give more time to the matches that actually matter today because, like I said, the triple threat tag match, more time, that match could have been match of the year. Okay? Like it was a good match for what it was. I didn't get that much into it. I thought it was great. I was jumping around and I thought it was wonderful. I thought, the Riddle RKO, best RKO Riddle's ever hit. The the Orton RKO, one of the best he's ever hit. So the Montez Ford spot, I mean, I don't know how anybody can fucking jump and fly that high. And then Gable follows it up with a 450 crossbody. So I don't have a problem with that stuff. I don't have a problem with the Banks and Naomi. I don't even have as much a problem as you do with Lashley and Omos. Where I start.
Oh, me neither. I liked it. I liked Lashley and Omos. I thought it was entertaining. Again, just didn't like the decision.
Yeah. And then Edge and AJ Styles, I've been watching Edge since I was a little kid, so I like, even if his matches are good, I like seeing him. And AJ Styles, I've been watching forever too, so I really like, I'm just like everybody else that really wanted to see this match. I wish they would have delivered better, man. And I wish they would have had a different finish. I think it's the finish that pissed me off. I expected it to be a slow pace match. The one thing commentary's talking about the fucking people popping their shoulders back in like every match. Did you notice that?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they were. Yeah.
What the fuck are they talking about? Who the fuck?
Going back to your point about well, they were doing it with Roman, right? But with Sheamus, like, he needs to understand, like, dude, your story just isn't a compelling story because one of the biggest people from that group is now out, and it's not your fault. It's just not something people are as invested in, and therefore we have to like cut it a little bit. And how do you not understand that?
Right, and Sheamus is generally a company guy who does understand that. I think that since he's been told he's got a faction and a push, and then they're getting cut, he just might be getting. Who knows, man? Like I say, we never know what people really want and what's really going on. So there could be other things, and there could be, whatever he's upset about. But I know that he made a stink about what happened yesterday. And he was influential on their positioning today, or at least like made a point about it. And it's like you said, he should understand that, he's had his WrestleMania fucking moment. He's had big moments. He doesn't need this. They don't need to have this match. Did they need to have a fucking match? I'm gonna go through it right now. The New Day's attacked as soon as they enter the ring. Holland and Sheamus steal their jackets, throw them out to Bush. Bush throws them at the ring announcers, or at the announcers of the ringside area. Cole saying, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Then New Day takes advantage. They're in the ring. Both teams start, working on each other back and forth. Sheamus is sent to the wrong side. They're working on him. New Day is. That was all before the fucking bell rang. Finally, the bell rings, and Kofi hits a Trouble in Paradise right out of the gate on Holland, but Sheamus breaks up a pin. Woods throws Sheamus into the announce table. Butch is trying to attack Woods, but Kofi gets in the way. Kofi and Woods double team Holland. Woods drops. Woods goes for a big spinning kick, but Holland lariats him. Kofi goes for an axe handle slam off the steps, but Shaman Brogue kicks him. Holland goes for a back suplex, but Woods flips out of that. Sheamus comes in there. Brogue kicks Woods. Sheamus hits another Brogue kick, and then Holland goes for the Northern Grit. Ends it 1, 2, 3 on Xavier Woods. So Sheamus came in, Brogue kicked both of the New Day, and then Holland slammed him, pinned him. Butch comes in to attack him, and Sheamus and Holland had to hold him back. The one thing I liked about this was New Day came in wearing new gear, and that evidently was the same shit that Big E wore when he won the championship. Seinfeld-inspired stuff. So whatever, that was pretty cool. But other than that, the match was a waste of time. What do you think?
Yeah, just move on.
All right, so we got that match is done. Now we got the main event.
Then you had Pat McAfee.
Oh, we got McAfee and fucking Theory. Jesus Christ. and Vince. And okay, so you talk about that one.
I thought the match was great. I thought this was actually the best match of the night. The crowd was going berserk for this match. Really. I mean, look, you could say whatever you want about it's not a wrestler or it's not like a professional thing. Or I just thought it was great, man. I thought Pat was amazing. He was doing backflips. He's getting out of the way of shit. He did suplexes that look as good as any suplexes anyone else does. I mean, he did a suplex off the top rope. He did. Pat was. How could you possibly have done any better? My question is like, who's better, Pat or Logan Paul? Who did better as the non-wrestler? And that's a really, really, really tough thing to figure out. I think they were both amazing. I gotta say Pat, just because of the way the crowd was reacting to him. Like, that crowd was nuts. That was the most energetic the crowd was the whole night, other than at the beginning of the Brock and Roman match. Like, they were berserk at the beginning of the Brock and Roman match.
The crowd was at a fever pitch for McAfee. I mean, he comes out to the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, bringing him out there. He's got the
but it wasn't even just that. Yes, they were chanting that, but it reminded me of the way like Apollo Creed came into Rocky IV, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it was so much showmanship. Like, it was just so sick, man. It was incredible.
Listen,
and Pat was...
He was probably loving that, you know? I'm happy for him to get that moment. Not that happy about everything that happened here. I thought the match he had with Theory was good itself. If it ended there, cool. I thought, really, honestly, when Vince took off the jacket and then put it back on.
Yeah, you're like, all right, cool, it's over, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to tease it, and I was like, okay, good. Go back, get out of here. I don't want to see this. And it's not that I don't want to see Vince. I mean, hats off to the guy for being nearly 80 years old and doing that shit. But at the end of the day, man, like, it was cringeworthy watching it. It really was. I was like, when he took that, when Austin tries to give him a stunner, and he can't even stay in place to take it. You know? And we haven't even gotten that far. So, you know, this match goes back and forth. Theory's hitting backbreakers and going for falls out of anywhere. A lot of this match was one guy hitting something on the other one, getting overconfident and posing about it, and then the other one taking advantage there.
More importantly than anything else, though, like, I do think Austin Theory did a great job because everyone really hated him in the crowd. And, like, that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like, you want people to be pissed at you and giving you the finger and hating you. And he was such a jerk. And, you know, I'm reading on this forum that you and I are on. People are writing, I hate Austin Theory's guts. Yeah, that's the point. That's what he's supposed to, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, I hate him. No, you're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to want him to lose. The worst thing you could have is no emotion towards someone. And that's not good.
These people in these forums are like, wait a minute, I don't like this. But I guess that's what they want us to think, right? And I'm like, no, he's a baby face. You're supposed to like him. You're just nitpicking about something right now. And then they'll complain about it. Oh, I don't like her haircut. I don't like the way she says this. Why are they making fun of the city? Because they're a heel. What the fuck?
The Austin Theory was when he was posing on the ropes and came into the ring and everyone was doing it. He got the biggest boo reaction of almost anyone, the whole WrestleMania. Do you agree with me? Am I wrong? Did I hear something or see?
He listen, Theory's got the I'll tell you the one thing I can criticize about Theory. I don't like his ring attire. He has the same shit, just changes the colors. I wish he would wear something different. That's the only thing I don't like about him. I think his timing on his heel work is outstanding. I think he understands how to fuck with the crowd. He understands how to
well, tonight he was... Sorry to interrupt, but tonight he was talking more than he normally does. He was saying to the crowd, oh, shut up, you losers. Oh, shut up. You guys are morons. I'm the man, pointing at himself like he normally doesn't do that as much. He does it more towards the opponent. This time he was really going at the crowd too a lot, and that was really good.
Well, what other match has he ever been in that had that much crowd heat?
Oh no. But when he comes out on Raw and he gets sort of a minor boo and he's messing with someone or whatever, like he doesn't say to the crowd like, "Oh, you shut up, you're a bunch of idiots." Like Kevin Owens does that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I think this really was at the end of the day? Obviously, high hopes for Austin Theory. Obviously, he's a blue chipper, bright future. Not a lot of things to dislike about him, other than for me his ring attire. So what it is let's put him out there, not against our biggest babyface, because that's Brock Lesnar. He's tied up with someone else. We're not putting him in there with McIntyre. That wouldn't make sense. But if we put him against McAfee, everybody's going to freaking go nuts for him. And let's see how he works in that scenario. Because like you said, we always see him on Raw against some stiff, or at best Finn Balor, and yeah, those matches can be good, but they're never going to get as loud as 75,000 people screaming for Pat McAfee and singing his song and wanting to see him win the match, and people being drunk from drinking all day. You know what I mean? It's just a different atmosphere. Dude, and let's see how Austin Theory does, and he nailed it.
Yeah, he was amazing. And Pat, these people in these forums saying, "Why is Pat McAfee? He's not even a wrestler." He's the most popular person in the whole freaking company, basically. Like, honestly, like obviously, look, is he more popular than Brock? No. Is he more popular? But he's kind of up there, honestly. Am I wrong?
With the world, like on Earth, the planet Earth, more people probably know about McAfee than 98% of the roster. Maybe not Brock Lesnar, but McAfee. I mean, how many people does he have following him on YouTube? How many fucking Colts fans are there? How many NFL fans are there? How many, and how many of those people don't know shit about wrestling? I mean, I'm on here talking with you about wrestling because no one that lives remotely close to me gives a fuck about it. You know what I'm saying? So
or no one that that gives a fuck about it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Or that you know of. I mean, a lot of people are also like secret wrestling fans because they feel, whatever. We can get into that.
There's a freaking stigma that, we're all a bunch of freaking geeks because we like wrestling. But
also, it's also like it's violent. It's, it's, it's just,
it doesn't make sense. Why'd they do that? That doesn't seem real. Well, it's not. But, yeah, we get all kinds of stuff in here. Theory actually hit some good movesets on him. We see McAfee hit a Hurricane Run at one point. Looked really nice. And he did everything perfect. Yeah, I'll go back to that Edge and Styles match because the one thing I did highlight is when Styles did hit that splash, that was a picture perfect moonsault that he hit. The 450, that was beautiful. That he landed on Edge's back. Beautiful moonsault off the springboard. So, match a little bit better just because of that. But anyway, in this match, we end up having McAfee going up top. Takes a little bit too much time. Theory moves out of the way when he goes for a splash. Vince laughs at him. Then McAfee ends up getting a superplex. Eventually, we're going for the ATL as Theory. Theory's trying to put away McAfee, but McAfee slides out of it and then puts him in a crucifix roll-up for the 1-2-3. And that ends that match. McAfee wins. Crowd goes wild. Crowd is going unglued the entire match, though. It was raucous in there while this was going on. I mean, when he posed before he went for the Swanton and missed it, it was just, the place was going nuts. He had one of the bigger reactions of the whole weekend.
He had, again, man, the crowd went crazier for McAfee than almost anything the entire weekend. And that tells you everything you need to know.
I agree. I mean, and again, that's why I have an
And by the way,
appreciation.
I was completely captivated by this match. I was not captivated by some of the others. Captivated. Didn't want to miss a second of it. Like shaking my leg, really into it. Like very into it. And that, you could just tell when it's a good movie, your attention's all on it. When it's a good TV show, your attention's all on it. When it's a good match, you're there. And this felt really, really good.
Yeah, I felt like McAfee and Theory did what they needed to do. McAfee looked good. Theory did the heel shit good. McAfee went over, got the crowd happy. Then we get to our next part. We get Theory, pretty much putting his tail between his legs, going to Vince. They're at ringside talking for a little bit. Vince teases that he's going to enter the ring, puts his, looks like he's going to take off his jacket. Then he puts it back on, takes a couple steps, then he takes the jacket off. Then he starts loosening up the tie, takes the tie off. Then he takes the dress shirt off and he's got the black wife beater, same that he used to wrestle in, on. Gets in the ring. There's a freaking referee in there. Commentary pointing this out to us over and over again. And they start a match. Now tell me what you were thinking when you saw McMahon start this match with McAfee.
I just didn't know how Vince would even get through it, and I was kind of like, oh man, it's going to take more time to get to the Brock Roman thing. That's honestly what I thought. I wanted it to be over. I didn't want to see it.
Yeah, I was feeling the same exact way. I was like, all right, McAfee and Theory, good match. I'm a little bit pissed that my prediction went wrong and Theory won, or Theory didn't win, but regardless, I liked the match. It was fine. And then Vince does this stuff. Now, when he was teasing it, did you think it was going to happen, or did you think he was going
No, I thought he was going to take off the jacket and then he put it back on. I thought he was going to walk back with Austin Theory. I thought he was going to just scold Austin Theory for losing, and that was going to be it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw happening. And of course, we didn't. He gets in the ring, has the match, does some really freaking weak clotheslines to McAfee, which McAfee, was a good sport about selling. He basically sold everything. He was just laying there letting Vince do stuff to him. Grabs Pat's head, yells at him, runs him into the turnbuckle a couple times. Theory grabs McAfee from behind, crotches him on the post. Vince eventually gets a Dallas Cowboys football from Austin Theory. Teases around the ring that he's going to punt it into the crowd. Eventually does a really weak punt from about 2 feet away into McAfee's face, covers him up, pins him for the 3 count. So, officially Vince defeats Pat McAfee in an impromptu match. What'd you think about that? Or did you already say what you
Yeah, whatever. It's just, I didn't think it made much sense. I mean, Pat just beat up. I understand Austin Theory did some stuff to him, but Pat just beat up this young wrestler who's really strong, and then he's just getting beat up by this old guy. I didn't think it made much sense, but okay.
Yeah, it was like, okay, is Vince McMahon the Incredible Hulk that he gets that pissed off? He's like, so what now between him and McAfee?
I think, I don't know, man. I just hope it's, the thing I was thinking is I hope that this doesn't spill into can Pat still broadcast? Because Pat didn't broadcast the Roman match, which is a big downer to me. And I hope it's not an ongoing story where they have tension and does Vince even want him working for the company anymore? And
He's off for a month and has to wrestle at Backlash and win on a fucking pink slip on a pole match or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I hope it doesn't turn into that.
I agree. I would like to see it just. I'm okay with having put Theory in this spot where he's with a mega baby face and have him, see how he does, build up his heel cadence there. He did that very well. Let's move on now. You know what I'm saying? Get Theory working with Balor for the U.S. Championship. and put McAfee back where he belongs on the table. Hopefully, Boogs comes back soon so McAfee can stand on that table.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? That's
Exactly.
what I care about. So after McMahon wins this match, him and Theory start hugging each other in the ring like two freaking homos, and you know, two freaking. They have a bromance in the middle of the ring. They're talking to each other, and immediately we hear Stone Cold Steve Austin's music. He comes out, uh, starts talking to McMahon. They're pointing at Theory, shooting some looks at Theory. Austin walks over to Theory, stuns him. Theory stuns this stunner like a champ. He flew up in the air, popped out of the ring. I mean, I haven't seen anyone sell a stunner like that since The Rock.
Oh, it was so good.
I mean, The Rock used to like flip up vertical and get his legs stuck in the ropes and stuff like that. He took this stunner and flew up 8 feet
Like
in
a
the air.
rag doll. Like a
Yeah,
rag doll.
beautiful. And exactly. So they put another one makes the point. Put him in this spot. You got babyface McAfee, then you got super freaking all-time babyface Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out. See how he takes a stunner. See how he takes to this. He did well. Austin Theory did an excellent job tonight, I think. So stuns Theory, looks good. Drinks with Vince a little bit. Then he stuns him. Vince can barely stand up to take the stunner. Takes it into the ropes. Now, I bet doing it by the ropes was kind of part of their plan, but I don't think it was part of the ropes for Vince to nearly stumble over. But anyway,
No, he just kind of lost his footing or whatever. Yeah, we don't need to talk about it. It's just whatever.
yeah. So stuns McMahon. Then McAfee comes in, drinks with Stone Cold, and then he freaking stuns McAfee. Everybody goes nuts. Everybody's going nuts for this awesome stuff. Does his four corners thing again. And that's it. What'd you think of Austin before we get to the main event?
Yeah, I didn't love it. I thought it was a waste of time. I thought I saw the same thing last night. The beer was disgusting. I don't know. I didn't like him stunning Pat, but Pat took it really well. Pat was, he did a good job of selling it. And that's it, man. And I would love to go through this main event with you, man, but it's 2 a.m. and I really got to run, bro. I really got to run.
All right, man. Have a good night, man. I'll finish this one up and I'll catch with you tomorrow.
Yeah, finish it up, man. We'll talk about it.
All right, have a good night, buddy.
All right, bro. You too, buddy. Bye.
All right, later. All right, so Brad's gone now. We'll talk about the main event real quick. Of course, we all know WWE was billing this as the biggest main event ever in WrestleMania history. Let's please not confuse this with best match ever. Biggest match in their mind because of the implications and because of what was at stake, which was the Universal and WWE title. So Roman comes in as the reigning Universal Champion. Lesnar comes in as the reigning WWE Heavyweight Champion. Roman enters first, gets a pretty good reaction. He's flanked by the Usos and Heyman. He gets the microphone, asks Wrestlemania to acknowledge him. Everybody pretty much does acknowledge him. Roman chants start breaking out. Then we get Brock Lesnar enter to a decent reaction, not a huge babyface reaction. Eventually, everybody's in the ring. We're getting ready for the ring announcement. Heyman takes the mic and starts to introduce Roman. Does his Roman introduction of the reigning, undisputed champion of the world. So he does that for Roman. Then ring announcer starts to announce Brock. Brock steals the mic and says he's the ass kicker that's going to kick your ass. And he introduces himself. And then we get to going on the match. Bell rings. Lesnar takes immediate control after he takes off his fighting gloves. So the first thing he does is take his fighting gloves off. Like, this is going to be business here. They stare each other down for a little bit. The crowd is going nuts. Brock starts out in control. He starts elbowing the back of Roman, gets him in the corner. Roman fights out of that, but eventually gets slammed in the other corner. Roman gets shoulders driven into him by Brock. Brock's really working on him in the corner, tearing into Roman's upper body with the shoulders. Then We get Roman block a suplex attempt by Brock, but then Brock turns it into a belly to belly. So Brock tries to send him to Suplex City, do the German suplex. Roman fights out of it. Brock tosses him over the head, belly to belly, release suplex, does it twice more for good measure. Then he sends him to the ringside area. While he's at the ringside area, Brock confronts Heyman. Heyman's telling him, I love you, I love you. This distracts Brock for just enough time for Roman to spear him real hard into the ringside timekeeping area, right through the freaking barricade. Reigns then heads back to the ring. Brock is trying to beat the 10 count. Gets in just at 9. I thought it was almost going to end in a freaking count out. Then Reigns is waiting there, hits a spear out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. He was waiting for Brock to come back in. So as soon as Brock enters the ring, Reigns hits a spear for a near fall. Then Reigns starts stalking him, hits a Superman punch, stalks him even more, hits another Superman punch. Then Lesnar starts laughing as he gets up. He goes for another Superman punch, but Lesnar catches him in midair, throws him in a German suplex, picks him up, throws him in a second German suplex. Then gets up to 5 German suplexes in a row. So he's throwing Roman all over the place here. It's looking a lot like WrestleMania 31 all over again. Looks for an F5. Roman slides out. He hits another Superman punch. Roman goes for the another spear, but Brock catches him in midair and hits an F5. Very close fall. Then goes for another F5. Roman rakes the eyes, slips out, pushes Brock into the corner, slams into official. Now we got a ref bump. The official's out. Heyman throws in the Universal title belt. Lesnar is reeling. As Lesnar gets up, Roman slams him with the Universal title in the head. Lesnar's knocked out. Lesnar then is knocked out. Reigns goes for a pin. The pin gets a near fall, 2.99 seconds. Roman then hits a spear on Brock. It's back. So Brock's running, sort of walking away. Roman runs the ropes, sort of chop blocks him, but it was more a spear to Brock's lower back area. Then Reigns hits another spear to Brock, puts him in a submission hold, but Brock puts him in a submission hold out of the spear. Really cool counter here. Reigns goes for a spear, and Brock takes the spear, but as they land, he reverses it into a submission hold. They're in the middle of the ring. Doesn't look like they got anywhere to go. Eventually, Roman gets to the ropes. Heyman's there trying to pep talk Roman. Reigns and Lesnar are both reeling at this point, sweating bullets. Brock's first back to his feet. Brock tries to go for an F5, but Roman gets out of it. He pushes him into the ropes. Brock rebounds off the ropes, and Roman hits a big spear, goes for the pinfall, and gets the 1, 2, 3, and there it is. Roman's your unified champion in the winner-take-all match at WrestleMania 38. Some people were saying, oh, I expected more. Bullshit. What the hell? I don't know what more anybody was expecting. I think this match was perfect for what these two guys are capable of. They're two very big men. You leave them in there for 15 more minutes and add 7 more German suplexes to it, you run the risk of killing somebody. And, you know, I guarantee you they came back through the curtain and their fellow superstars told them they burned it down. They did a hell of a job. Roman did a hell of a job. Brock sold that match very well. The finish was very good. I thought the fact that they put in the interference and the belt hitting Brock and Brock kicked out of it helped protect Brock in this match, because they didn't screw him with a fucked finish, but he did take that hit with an illegal weapon during the match. So having lost, you know, that's a cumulative effect during the match. So having lost that match and having taken some illegal shit during the match kind of protects Brock. But again, Brock has no problem putting Roman over, and Roman did win this match clean. And I'm very glad that they had him win clean. At the end of the day, the fact that he wins this match clean is why I think it was a good match. Had they done it with, some sort of interference or fuck finish, I would not have said it was a good match, because everything could be great up to that point, but if they fuck the finish up on a match that's supposed to be the biggest stakes ever, then that's a problem. In this case, the logic made sense. Brock took control early. Roman fought back. It was hard hitting. Roman took advantage of the windows, as he should. He made some good veteran moves. Brock was hard to beat. He appeared hard to beat. Roman actually seemed like he was fighting from beneath as the heel here. I thought it was really well executed by both men, especially considering matches they've had in the past. I don't have a problem with this at all. I thought it was great. A lot of people were expecting somebody else to come out to challenge Roman after this. Let's just be patient and see what they do. I think at the end of the day, they got the right winner here. The finish wasn't a total screw finish to Brock, and we should appreciate that. Both men worked hard. The crowd was going nuts. Was it a shorter match on the shorter side? Sure. But again, two big guys like that aren't going to work a 27-minute freaking Tokyo Dome special. It just doesn't happen. It's going to be a slower paced match, and sometimes if it's hard hitting and quick hard hitting, it's got to wrap up a little bit quicker. But at the end of the day, I really felt like they delivered on what I expect. They got physical. It was hard hitting. Brock Lesnar looked scary as far as the way he was coming after Roman, and the things that Roman did to win were believable. He hit that big spear through the barricade. That's something we know that has hurt Brock Lesnar in the past. Lesnar didn't just go down to one finisher. We had multiple Superman punches, multiple spears, a belt to the face, another Superman punch, another spear. So it took a lot to put Brock down, and I think that was, a well laid out match. I did not have a problem with it, and I think that, there's a lot to look forward to here. Now we got a unified champion. What's going to happen with a new belt? Is there going to be a new belt? Is Roman going to feud with both belts with different people? What the hell is going to happen? Now we got new tag champions. What are they going to do? Are they going to elevate the women's tag division? RK Bro retained. See what more kind of stuff they can do. Edge now has a heel faction. That's pretty exciting. Theory elevated, did a good job. I'd like to see him and Finn Balor in a program here. I don't want to see him beat Finn Balor, but if he does, I don't have a problem, because I know he's got a big future. I really enjoyed WrestleMania Night 1 and 2. Probably enjoyed overall Night 1 better, but tonight it wasn't bad at all. Night 2 deserves praise. People get low expectations for things, and then they're very high gratitude when it turns out pretty well. And then we get our hopes up for Night 2, and our gratitude's lower. But for me personally, when you look at it objectively with the appropriate expectations for what it was, they delivered on what they should. Were things a little bit crammed and clunky? Sure. But with the main event especially, it was executed good. Roman is the unified champion now. It wasn't a situation where it was a total fuck finish and Brock got totally screwed, and at the end of the day, Brock ended up looking somewhat strong. So I don't have a problem with it. I think they did a good job tonight, did WWE. I think their WrestleMania weekend was great. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Please follow me on Twitter at BeyondMattWWE. All the shows we got are in the archives. We did a lot during WrestleMania weekend. We'll do some more tomorrow. We'll be back for live after Raw tomorrow. And subscribe to the YouTube page, like it, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll catch you guys later, man. It's getting late. I'm out of here. I really hope you guys enjoyed WrestleMania. I know that a lot of things tonight people sort of had some issues with, but I thought at the end of the day we should be happy with what WWE did. No other promotion's going to put forth an effort like they did, and we can all complain about certain parts out of it. I'm going to do that too, but at the end of the day, I think that both were positive events. I'm glad I watched both, and you know, I think that there's a good year ahead of us for WWE content. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.